Ahoy and welcome back to another video. July has come and gone, and that means it's time for me to talk about another month's worth of playing games. This is a series of videos where I talk about all the games I played for the past month, helping myself make a Game of the Year list as we work towards the end of 2025. I'll start out with the games I played for July that came out in July, and then I'll talk about the games I played that came out previously. So starting out with the games I played this month that actually came out this month, I only played one, and it is Donkey Kong Bonanza. This game is one of the games I was most excited about for the Switch 2, call it a launch, near launch. Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite games of all time. This game feels and plays and looked to be like a successor to Mario Odyssey, made by the same, generally the same team of people at Nintendo. But yeah, just get out in front of it. I think the game is incredible. I loved it the whole way through. I did finish it at the time, yesterday at the time of this recording. I also don't think it's a perfect game. I've seen a lot of praise for this game, saying it's like the best 3D platformer Nintendo's made. It's a perfect game, 10 out of 10, yada yada yada. In my opinion, it's definitely very good. I had a lot of fun with it. I do think it's more of a 9 out of 10 kind of thing. I think generally Donkey Kong is more fun to move around. He can move fast. He's fun to roll, jump, roll in the air, climb onto things, throw things. His movement kit is tons of fun. There's lots of fun variety and ways you can express yourself with that expressive platforming. But I do feel like at the end of the day, it often does boil down to me, maybe to my own faults, just punching through rocks and digging for minutes at a time. And that is very cathartic in the moment, and I do enjoy it. And it is like stimulating my brain in a way, but also I saw someone relate to this on Twitter. It almost is like the equivalent of like scrolling on your phone. Like, I enjoy it. I want to keep doing it. It's fun. But then after I do it for a while, I'm like, what did I just do? I just ripped apart this mountain for 5 minutes. I got a bunch of, consumable items or whatever. But at the end of the day, I didn't really do anything. I just kind of destroyed this thing. And to what benefit? I don't know. I feel like the actual exploring the levels... I almost want to play it through again without doing any of the digging, or like just play the levels as intended to see how the game would play. Because I wonder if I would if the levels are actually set up in a way that is like a fun for a 3D platformer and fun to explore. Because I was just kind of mindlessly digging and destroying stuff and finding things, and I'd stumble into the objective. I don't know if I ever really appreciated the path the game wanted me to go on. And it's weird, I still had a blast doing that, so maybe it was well executed in that way. I just don't know, if this is a game I want to go back to and replay. I feel like if I wanted to replay this game, I would just spawn in and just start destroying stuff on a level and get my fill and then be done with it. I don't know. Like with Mario Odyssey, I played through that game. I think I played through it twice, at least. And going through the main path of those levels is a satisfying, fun thing to do. I don't know if going back through Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'd have the same experience. Maybe I would have a good experience. Maybe I'm clouding my judgment just based off of the way I played it, just destroying stuff. But I feel like the game is built on this destruction mechanic, and I do think it was very fun. I just wonder if that was almost a distraction for my brain, making me think it was, better than it was. I don't know. I gotta sit and think about it a little bit more. This is some pretty fresh thoughts, I guess. I still think it is my second favorite game of this year so far. I think Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is still a clear front runner for me for my game of the year. But I did enjoy Donkey Kong Bonanza front to back. I did think the game was very smooth, and the platforming, the toolkit of the movement, the expressive platforming, that was all very, very good. I liked digging. I liked just throwing rocks and making things explode. The Bonanza abilities you get, that where you can like turn into another animal. I won't spoil them all here, but I thought those did a great job of like changing the way you interact with the environment. And they also had some really, I think the best music in the game is the tracks you get when you change into these Bonanza abilities. One of them in particular is an absolute banger. Like it was the third one I got, but I think it's like the second one on your list. You get the theme of that Bonanza ability is very, very, very good. I've listened to it on repeat on YouTube a few times, but I think all the Bonanza themes are very good. And then there's a couple throwback songs like you got to listen to. I found a level that had Sticker Brush Symphony. I don't know if I got Aquatic Ambiance or not, but all the good DK music from the past does find a way to show up in some way, whether it be a remix, find a way to re-experience that music. But outside of the Bonanza music and the throwback music that comes back up, I also don't know if the music, the moment-to-moment music, was as good as Mario Odyssey. Just like the music you hear when you're running around a level and nothing special is going on. I don't feel like anything was super memorable there for me. But yeah, the way I guess I talked a lot about the digging and the platforming. This game also does have these side levels that pop up along the way. They come in different flavors. There's like these triangles, and if you go through the triangle gates, there will be a secret level where you can find 3 bananas in each, and it's normally one about halfway through that you just get for getting there, one at the end for getting through the level, and there's one like secret one along the way. I thought those were a fun change of pace because those were where the platforming challenges did come in. Those were where it was like forcing you to solve a problem without digging, most of the time without digging. So that's where like I feel like it like shoehorns in the platforming, and then when you're actually out in the overworld, it's more about exploring and destruction. And I think maybe that is a good balance like that. I don't know. There was also these combat challenges. These little circles on the floor you can bust through. Those were all pretty damn easy most of the time. It would say like, here's 4 of these enemies. Go kill them all in 30 seconds. And sometimes you can kill them all in like 4 seconds. Then later in the game, the challenge got more complex. There was like obstacles preventing you from getting to the enemies. So you had to like think on your feet, like how do I get through this obstacle to get to the enemy and kill them real fast, and use my environment to assist in that. So those became more fun as it went on, and I started to appreciate them more as it went on. But at the beginning, they were pretty simple, and I mainly just ran up to it and just punched monsters 3 times and they exploded. Speaking of punching monsters 3 times in the face and exploding, the bosses, I was a little disappointed with the bosses early game. They had some cool ideas and mechanics of like how you damage them, but they were very exploitable. If you go into the Kong Bonanza, the first Bonanza you get, you just turn to like a big Super Saiyan Donkey Kong. And if you get to the point in these boss fights where you can do damage to them, you can just go into Kong Bonanza mode, and I think like the first 3 bosses, I just wailed on them in that mode and like killed them in one sequence. I didn't really get to experience the boss fight. There are later boss fights that prevent you from doing stuff like that. They sequence gate the damage a little better. And some of the later bosses were pretty tough. I streamed the end of the game. The last couple bosses of the game I did actually have to really lock in and give my full attention to. So I appreciated that. As far as big moments go, I think the big moments in this game, they did come from those big bosses at the end of a level. Even if the boss wasn't super mechanically difficult, they were mechanically interesting, and they were a fun experience seeing them show up, and the build up to fighting them was a cool cap to each level. So big moments, I don't want to just compare it to Odyssey, but big moments, Odyssey takes it. Moment to moment music, I think Odyssey takes it. there's a, I would say, level variety. Once you get through the whole game, Donkey Kong, I think, is kind of on par with the level variety with Odyssey by the end of the game, because there's some cool later levels. But I do feel like the distraction or like clouding of my memory of this game, of like, I feel like most of the time I was just digging through stuff. I wonder if that element of the game is going to always have Odyssey in this special tier above Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I remember that game like just constantly doing fun little challenges, whether it be platforming or like a little puzzle or just finding something. And a lot of times Bonanza, I feel like I was in the rock just punching through, and I was finding stuff that way. So give or take. But like I said, I'm being a little critical of it because I feel like everyone's praising it so much, and I feel like I want to give some of my negative thoughts on it. That all being said, I still think this game was incredible. I still enjoyed it. I just don't think it was like a 10 out of 10. I do think it was like a 9 out of 10. So yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, easily my second favorite game of the year so far, behind Clair Obscur, and easily my July game of the month. Mainly because I only played one game this month. There are two games that came out this month that I do want to play. I say came out. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, when I'm recording this, comes out like now / in the morning. Like, it's nighttime on Wednesday the 30th when I'm recording this. So Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I do want to play it. I think it's available like right now. And then Shadow Labyrinth, which is that like Pac-Man Metroidvania game that it looks like it got some pretty mixed reviews, but it's an interesting looking game and I want to give it a go. I think the concept of like this darker Pac-Man game is kind of funny and I want to experience it. Unfortunately, that came out like a day before Bonanza and I was already Bonanza or nothing at that point, so I didn't even look at Shadow Labyrinth, but I would like to try to find some time to go back to it. But yeah, those are the July games. And then as far as games that came out before July, there was only one that I really played. I put a lot of time into it though, and that is Elden Ring Night Rain. I believe this game came out in May. That sounds right. And I remember I was playing it a lot with friends right when it came out. We were having a good time. We were struggling through a few bosses. We were making some progress. But overall, the main complaint was like, man, it's hard to get 3 people in a room to play games for a couple hours, especially with, everyone's schedules, whether it be their jobs, their other family plans, their whatever they got going on in their life. It's hard to find time for 3 people to play this game and lock in on the same objective for a few hours at a time. So I decided this month I would give it a go to play just randoms matchmaking. I'm going to get to this game playing with randoms and see how it goes. And I don't know if it's because the audience that's still playing this game in July, a couple months after launch, is like the serious crowd, and all of the casual and like fair weather FromSoft fans have moved on. But I was finding consistent good lobbies with consistent good players who were, marking on the map, playing as a team, going after objectives, and we were winning over and over and over and over again. I did get the Platinum Trophy in this game. So basically it means I beat all bosses. I basically experienced all events in the game, all the world events that can happen. I beat 3 different bosses on 3 different runs, which is something I didn't think I was going to be able to do when I was first playing the game. But yeah, like I ended up having a really good time with this game because I started to learn the game better. I was worried at first that having just one map would make it very repetitive, but it turned into a way where, because there's one map, everyone kind of understood what to do, understood all the objectives and the best places to go. So when you were playing with randoms and they would mark something, me and the other person would kind of understand what they're going for and can decide if that's a good thing to go for or not, and we can go execute on that. And getting through this game, it can be frustrating because these runs are like 45 minutes and you get to a tough last boss, and if you lose in the last boss, you really feel like, man, that sucks. I was so close and I had nothing to show for it, because let's be honest, the rewards for a run in this game, if you lose, are not great. You get these like relics that you you can equip for the next run. But if you've already got good relics for your character, there's not really much to hope to get. You just kind of, oh, I got another relic that is worse in every way. So I got nothing on this run. It was a kind of a waste of time. But yeah, I got to the last boss. The last boss took like, I think I got the last boss on the third try. Your third or fourth. The first run we got decently far. The second run we got absolutely waxed. And the third run we actually kind of, third or the fourth, the winning run, we kind of actually dominated the boss because we had some really good weapons that were pretty much direct counters to it. And that's another like criticism of the game. I feel like the end bosses at the end of each of these runs, I feel like it really came down to, did you have the weapon that they were weak to? Because if you had the weapon they were weak to, you could stagger them super easy, which takes the damage pressure off of you, lets you do a lot more damage to them, and it would like, for some bosses, it would like stop some of their weird effects that made them a tough fight. And I feel like if you just went to a fight and you had a good weapon, you know, a high rank, legendary weapon, whatever, but it wasn't like the right affinity, it just wasn't always worth it. Night Rain's another game I have some complex thoughts on. Like, I still really enjoyed it. It was a fast-paced, you know, Elden Ring roguelite, basically. But I feel like it could be frustrating at times. I feel like if you didn't have good teammates, it was very annoying. You know, every once in a while you'd have a game where you're playing with randoms and somebody dies early on, and they just leave the game immediately, and then it's just you and another person, and the game doesn't like scale back down to a 2-player difficulty, so then the other guy leaves, and then it's just you, and okay, well, I'll try again. And then the game's like, well, if you leave, you'll be penalized for leaving a match in progress. Like, well, I'm only leaving because everyone else left. Why am I being penalized? So there's some like weird kinks there to iron out. But I do like this game enough. If they added more content, added another map, added some more bosses, I would go back to it. I would play more. And you know, if other friends were ever like, hey, you want to jump in Night Rain, play a couple matches, I'll always be down. The game is fun. I do enjoy it a lot. I think there's some more kinks to work out. You know, FromSoft always has some weird oddities with the way they set these things up. And that's still present here in Night Rain, I think. But yeah, overall it's a good month of games. Like I said, really enjoyed Bonanza. You know, the way I talked about it might not show that I liked it that much, but I did really enjoy it. And I did really enjoy Night Rain despite its goofy flaws as well. So coming into August, I'm not really sure what we'll be playing in August. There's Drag X Drive, which is that Nintendo mouse mode game, the wheelchair basketball game, which does look neat. You know, I do want to play more mouse mode games, so I might check that out. And then Kirby, Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Star Crossed World, I believe it's called. That's a game that, you know, I loved Kirby and the Forgotten Land when that came out. And this is just like, hey, the game's going to run at a better frame rate, higher resolution, and they're going to add content. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll consider buying that $20 upgrade and playing through that. At least playing through the DLC, the expansion. But yeah, I think that's all I got for this month. Look forward to talking more next month. And I do think I'm going to put out a Donkey Kong review, a dedicated video, try to iron out my thoughts on it. But I'm gonna do that review when I win 100% it. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna get all the bananas. I'm gonna get all the fossils. I'm gonna do everything 100%, and then I'm gonna put together a review after 100% video. So not sure when that'll be. I feel like I've got like a little over 2/3 of all the bananas in the game. So it might takes a little, you know, another week or two to get that out. But I do feel like I want to get my thoughts out there a little bit more, you know, eloquently put. But that's all I got. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.